Tom Vecchio down the right side here. 30 minutes till kickoff. Eagles versus the New York Giants. Thursday night football divisional rivalry tonight. Lines here as we take a look live. Tom, 7.5 still hanging in there at this point right now. Multiple outlets and also a listed total of 40.5 across the board. Let's start there. Eagles, Giants tonight. How are we feeling about this?
I'm feeling like we're in for a Thursday night game is the best way to put it when it's all said and done. Lower total. Giants dealing with a ton of injuries. We know that Malik Neighbors is done for the year. We know that Darius Slayton isn't playing for the Eagles. Jalen Carter was just ruled out. It's going to be a Thursday night game. Again, that's the easiest way to describe it. 2013 final Eagles, 21-13. I do not expect a high-scoring game all 24-13, somewhere around there. I don't think that we're going to be pushing over at all. I don't think it's going to be quick. And if the Eagles cover, it's going to be a late field goal. They just happen to chip one in, but kind of a slow back and forth game.
Yep, and I'll be choppy all night tonight, so apparently Restream doesn't like me once again tonight. We'll see if it works out, but as long as you can hear me, that's all we care about at this point right now. So we'll get to this game, but I'm also watching the Philadelphia Phillies 0-0. Is anybody going to score in this game? Seems like it's going to come down to a solo home run at some point, but we are focused on the Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles tonight, and we'll start with the side itself, because coming into this game, I thought the Philadelphia Eagles were the right side at -7. Minus 115, minus 120 prices, depending on where you're shopping at. Total 40.5, didn't love it too much. Jalen Carter's down tonight, which is a pretty big deal. He was probably going to eat up that interior guard, tackle guard position and really cause problems for a young quarterback. The one thing I do know, Tom, the Giants aren't very good on offense. Bad quarterback, average backfield, average offensive line, no wide receivers, and average tight end at this point. I think they'll struggle to move the football, but I do think, Tom, there are opportunities to move the football on the ground with the Giants tonight with Carter out.
I would say the same. And, from a pure handicapping standpoint, a lot of people are going to be taking the 7.5 with the Giants. A divisional game, it's a short week, it's this, that, the other thing. Just getting it past the 7 is absolutely huge. So backing the Giants in a betting capacity, I understand. But outside of that, I don't have a whole lot of hope for the Giants moving the ball effectively. For their offense, they're going to be going with, I assume it's going to be, and we got to remember Tyrone Tracy's back today as well.
Yes, correct.
So I think they're going to be going with a lot of 2 tight end, 2 running back sets. And then it's going to be Wan'Dale Robinson plus Theo Johnson, Scatterbo Tracy. We're going to see some Jalen Hyatt in there. We're also going to see Daniel Bellinger and Bo Collins. So it's going to be kind of a spread out offense. Just whoever's open, I'm going to pass the ball to you.
I think the avenue for the Giants to win this football game is not going up and down the field because, again, they don't have any wide receivers. It's Wan'Dale Robinson and just a bunch of dudes out there, and Wan'Dale's not even that good. And then, Theo at tight end, you'll see what you get. So maybe slowing it down where they're just trying to get, 3 plays for every first down, slow the clock down and see if the Eagles can struggle on offense. One key that the Giants have a good defensive line, but their linebackers aren't that good. Neither is their secondary. So let's start to take a look, Tom, at some of these passing props tonight. Jaxson Dart, 177.5. Jalen Hurts, 196.5. We'll start with the Eagles. What do they look like on offense to you, and what's their attack point here? Is it running the football or passing the football?
So, as you know, and as everybody knows, the Eagles have not been good on offense to start the year. And they've been outgained in every single game. But then we're also dealing with the Saquon revenge narrative kind of thing. If you want to, look back to last year with him just lighting things on fire when he played the Giants. And objectively, this is as easy as it gets when it comes to a matchup. And I think I don't want to say this is a measuring stick game for the Eagles. Normally you say that on the opposite side, when they're going against a really good defense, you're like, okay, is this team as good as they are? This is a measuring stick. The offense has been struggling, yes. But if you can't get it done against the Giants, then there's a real concern because we're over a quarter into the season and there's actually we're at a quarter in the season and there's some struggles. So the point being, the Giants defense is terrible. The Eagles have to be able to get it done tonight. Saquon has to be able to push to 80 yards on the ground, 100 yards combined. They have to get the ball to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith.
Yeah, take a look at Landon Dickerson down for the guard tonight. Obviously, he's going to be inactive, had that ankle injury, and then he got caught up last week with the Denver Broncos. You have some backups at the guard position. Not a great center season so far for Cam Jurgens, and that's really been an issue. But Saquon has been getting bet up, Tom. We're at 88.5 now at FanDuel as I take a look here. Jalen Hurts at 40.5. Do you think this is a game where, again, the Giants aren't going to run away from anybody, right? It's sometimes you get into a game plan where you're down, against the Rams, and you just have to throw the football and you can't work things in. The Giants' maximum tonight for me is like 16 points. So no matter what, Tom, you're getting first, second, third, and fourth quarter carries from Barkley. So you're thinking tonight is the night that he should be in the 80s to give you a chance for a touchdown tonight and getting 15-plus touches.
It really should be the way. And even if the Giants were fully healthy, even if, again, the Eagles were fully healthy, there was yards back and forth. Again, the 7.5-point spread, like that should still be indicating that they will be leading. They will be in a spot to run the ball, all those sorts of things. So again, Saquon rushing, like you said, it got bet up to 88. His attempts are still saying 18.5. Again, these are numbers that are obtainable for him. He should be able to push to 90 yards. And again, it is more concerning, even without Dickerson in there, if they can't get it done against this Giants defense, that is a more concerning thing moving forward.
Also, take a look. What backup props here? Because I always look at that on Thursday night, right? Like Saquon got banged up a little bit in that Denver Broncos game. Didn't make practice early in the week, but it was really just a report that said, "Hey, we're going to have a walkthrough, and it is what it is." He's going to play tonight. We expect those carries. A.J. Dillon, 8.5 yards. Tom, 2 carries tonight against the Giants, and if you're leading, shouldn't he be able to get that and get that done? Like, how do you play some of these secondary guys tonight?
So Will Shipley just isn't seeing a role, at least when it comes to the ground game. Yeah. I honestly think A.J. Dillon, I wouldn't look there. I would look towards, if we're looking at secondary options, it'd be secondary receiving for the Giants. That's where I would go.
Yeah. Interesting stuff there at this point. By the way, Jalen Hurts, 40.5. Take a look at Jaxson Dart, 37.5. Any thoughts on the quarterbacks rushing the ball tonight?
I would choose Dart before I chose Hurts. And again, Hurts generally gets a lot of rushing yards when he has to scramble. And when he has to scramble, it's because he has to drop back and pass a lot when they're in close, higher scoring games. Dart may have to do so. And also Dart's, I don't want to say he's like kind of crazy out there, but like, it's kind of just his game, moving the ball on the ground. Like, he needs to reel it in from a safety perspective. Like, they need him to, like, stay healthy.
By the way, tons of options here at the wide receiver position tonight. A.J. Brown, 63.5. Devonta Smith, 51.5. Leader in the clubhouse here for the Giants, Wan'Dale Robinson, 43.5. Really the only true wide receiver it feels like they have. Theo Johnson has been bet up all day. Now he's up to 30.5. And then they have Tyrone Tracy, Cam Scatterbo, Jalen Hurts. I do think that Scatterbo number is light at 17.5. And that's actually been bet up from 15.5 as well. Running backs, wide receivers, receiving game. Where are you going tonight?
I would go to Wan'Dale Robinson again, because he is just the most talented wide receiver. And again, even when Slayton was playing and Malik Neighbors was healthy at the start of the year, Wan'Dale Robinson was the only player on this list that saw consistent usage in the offense. In 3 wide receiver sets, that's what they were doing. When you look to Jalen Hyatt, who's been on the team for a couple of years, like, this is not a player that Dable doesn't know. He's been on the team for a couple of years, and he legitimately was not utilized in the offense in the first set of weeks. Like, that should just tell you enough about the skill set that he brings. That it's like, there's not a whole lot there. When you're looking at Bo Collins and another young wide receiver, Bellinger, the backup tight end behind Theo Johnson, again, you could play 3 of them and hope that 2 come through. It's Wan'Dale Robinson, it's Theo Johnson, and I would take a shot on Jalen Hyatt. Like, if he can't get yards and stay on the field when there's no other target competition, the Giants, I'm not going to say should cut him, but it's very clear that he is not an offensive option at that point.
Let's take a look at the touchdown prop market tonight, Tommy. Saquon Barkley, -155, and Jalen Hurts, -125. The 2 guys that are juiced tonight. Everybody else, plus money. Cam Scatterbo shows up first for the Giants at a +150 price. Jaxson Dart, +340. Whew, behind him is the closest. If you can pick out who's going to score for the Giants tonight, boy, you got some money if it's outside of Scatterbo.
I would say like this. I would have to guess that you're probably going A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, just hoping that one comes through, as we often say, on these shows. Just give me one of them. Here's how I would phrase it. If Jaxson Dart throws a touchdown, I highly anticipate that it'll be going to either A, Wan'Dale Robinson, or B, Theo Johnson. This is not to say that others won't be involved, but I'd be willing to take a shot on one of those 2 players, because I think those are the two most talented pass catchers that they have in the offense.
You know what I always love to do, Tom? I take a look at the 2 wide receivers on the Eagles. A.J. Brown, +185. Devonta Smith, +240. I'm taking both of them again tonight. I think Jalen Hurts has a legitimate chance to throw 2 touchdowns, at least one of them, and I think it's going to go that way. Now, sure, Saquon could catch one like he did last week. Dallas Goedert's always involved in that, but I look at those 2 wide receivers screaming for the football. So when it's 1st and goal, Tom, at the 7, and they throw the football, I don't think it's scheming to get open Dallas Goedert. I think it's one of those wide receivers. I think it makes some sense. Barkley, yes, because the sentimental value of we're first and goal at the 5-yard line. He wants a touchdown against old guys. They play into that as well. Jalen Hurts on the tush push, those make sense. But for me, Tom, I'm keeping it wide receivers again on the Eagles.
Yeah, I have Devonta Smith. I'm using him for the touchdown jackpot.
Yep.
So I have that. I have, just a normal bet on him elsewhere. But again, I think that's the right play. And I honestly think Devonta Smith is going overlooked. Like, a lot of people will look to Saquon for the touchdown jackpot. They'll also look to Hurts. Maybe Scatterwood takes some. A.J. Brown will have that. And then I think there's going to be a drop-off where people are like, hang on, if the Giants score first, it's going to be Wandale. It's going to be Theo Johnson, who caught some touchdowns last week. I think Devonta Smith actually is going to be in an interesting spot when it comes to the TD jackpot. So I like him tonight. And again, the usage makes sense. He actually has a higher red zone target share compared to A.J. Brown. He's up at 35%. A.J. Brown's at a 21% red zone target share.
Yeah, Chops BX going over those touchdown props right now. I'm going to take both wide receivers on the Philadelphia Eagles, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Two big numbers here. Tom certainly giving out some of those props as well. So, look, 40.5. We don't have that 52.5. It's like, hey, everybody's going to score. I'm worried about the Giants scoring touchdowns. Their team total, 16.5 points. So we're thinking 2 touchdowns that side and 3 touchdowns from the Eagles. So there are some options here. 40.5. Like, I'm not a teaser guy, Tom, but if I took a teaser tonight, Eagles buying it down to -1.5 and up to 46.5. I just don't think the Giants have the ability to get into a shootout with the Eagles. And the shootout, Tom, is like 24-23. You know what I mean? I just think the Giants will try to slow this game down. The Eagles are the better team. They should score, but we haven't seen that offense really in rhythm much this year.
No, we haven't. And speaking of teasers, again, I'm also not a big teaser guy at all. I couldn't even tell you the last time I bet one, but Eagles are 7.5, and so are the Rams. So I think those make sense this week. Again, the Rams are 7.5 on the road at Baltimore, West Coast team coming east. So moving it from 7.5 down to 1, like, that does make sense. And again, I'm not a big teaser guy. I rarely bet them, but I think that would be a pretty rational pair.
I would maybe another team, too, to look at. Maybe the Indianapolis Colts at home. Looks like maybe Kyler Murray's not going to give it a go. So
good point.
That point. So there are some decent stuff. Like, if you have, like, open-ended teasers, like, well, I don't really want to do it. Like, I'd be hard-pressed to think the Eagles lose this football tonight. No Jalen Carter or not. The Giants are a bad football team. I'm playing a couple different angles here where the Giants, I think, can get a rushing touchdown tonight, but I would put the Eagles in a teaser and certainly be confident with that. So for me, Tom, tonight, if I had, forget the teaser. I think the Eagles win. -7, I think, makes a lot of sense. I don't love it with Jalen Carter down. Total in this game, stayed away from it here. Touchdown props again, both of the Eagles wide receivers. I think the Giants score a touchdown on the ground. I think Scatterwood can go over the 17.5 yards. I think A.J. Brown can get the 4.5 catches. So, Tom, what do you got tonight for the people? Side, total, prop bets here, and get them going.
I am betting A.J. Brown under yards, under 64.5 or 65.5 yards. And again, that's, as I always say, that's just like a pure hedge based on the fact that he's on my most important dynasty team. Yeah. And again, we're not expecting a whole lot of yards overall. I think he could score a touchdown, go over 4.5, and maybe still go under the yards. But again, that's just me from an emotional standpoint, hedging my fantasy team. So A.J. Brown under yards. I like Devonta Smith for a touchdown, and I think the game stays under. I really do. If it goes over, it's going to be late. It's not going to be cruising over. The way I described this game earlier is I think this is the most classic Thursday night matchup that we could possibly get. It's going to end 20-13, 21-13. Allen Herbstreit are going to be talking about all the penalties that we get, and it's going to be ugly. And again, I don't want to complain about football because football's on and it's fantastic, but it's going to be a bad game tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But we'll see what happens here. That's Tom Vecchio, and it's Donnie Wrightside. 30 minutes till kickoff. Quick show tonight because, my boy, look, I'm a Phillies fan. I'm stressing this game out right now. Got to get a victory to push that game to Game 5 Saturday night. Eagles play tonight as well. Flyers, by the way, Tom, any hockey out there for the people real quick? Even though it's a football show, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I like the Wild, Minnesota Wild. I think it's coming up at 8 o'clock. Wild on the money line, Blue Jackets on the money line. Home ice in the NHL is really important factor when it comes to handicapping lines. So when you see a road team that's close to even money where the game seems like a coin flip, the road team is generally pretty good, and that home team is probably pretty bad. The Predators are going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year.
There you go. Tom Vecchio says it all. Donnie Wrightside, good luck on your action tonight. We'll do it again Sunday morning. Hey, we'll get you set up for that full card radio.